We'll start today with the obvious because why the hell not? Tamarah Lich just got bail. She was a political prisoner. Tamarah Lich was a political prisoner. She was put in prison for opposing the tyranny of the Liberal Party. They put her in prison for that. That is obvious. She complained that the judge who heard her case and denied her bail was biased because the person that they appointed to judge her case had once wanted to be a Liberal MP. And Tamarah Lich is guilty of organizing a protest against Liberal tyranny. So we're going to think that a supporter of the Liberal Party, someone who wanted to be an MP, was probably biased, weren't they? Going to go ahead and just assume that. In any event, that MP did deny Tamarah Lich bail. And we should point out that up until the point that the Emergency Act was imposed, freezing people's bank accounts and such, Tamarah Lich wasn't guilty of anything. She had not, and when they did charge her, they charged her with mischief and promotion of mischief. She was in jail for 2 weeks and just got released on bail. What do they think? She's going to fight for Canada for this long, and then what is she going to do? She's going to leave Canada? Really? You leave Canada. Tamarah Lich, as it happens, is a tiny Métis woman. The Canada needs a hero. There's a great hero for us right there. That's a Métis woman that actually stood up for something that is more important than anything, and that's opposing tyranny. She is a bona fide hero. There should be statues built of her, for us. Right now, the Western world is paying for a war in Ukraine that could be stopped if we just quit paying for it. We're literally willing to sacrifice Ukrainian lives to benefit weapons manufacturers. That's the only person that's the only people that are going to benefit from this. The people that we're giving, Holodomor. It might be an interesting time to review our history. The Russian communists starved to death 10 million Ukrainians before Hitler. And then those Ukrainians saw Hitler come up and they go, this Hitler guy, he really doesn't like communists, does he? And so at that time, I would bet a lot of Ukrainians were kind of sympathetic to the Nazis. They call themselves Nazis in Ukraine now. I mean, so there was an interview recently and they're saying, yeah, I'm a Nazi. I enjoy killing. I enjoy war. I enjoy all of this conquest and competition and all of the rest of it. And I'm eating caviar and drinking champagne because they're giving us the money to live fantastic lifestyles and to do exactly what we want to do, which is to kill people. That's what the Nazi Party guy from Ukraine said. And they probably control a good... The number of Ukrainians that would be naturally inclined to have sympathy to the Nazi Party is probably about like 100%. I don't imagine that the German Nazis were particularly kind to Ukrainian-speaking people either, but not as bad as the Soviets. That's for sure. And so maybe that's it, I guess. Um, you got the normal from mainstream media, from politicians. Um, Everybody knows this anyway, but uh, anything they say is a lie. You should just assume that everything that they say is a lie, even if what they're saying is the truth. So they're saying to you that city in Ukraine is being bombed, and of course it's a horrible thing. But what they don't go on to tell you is why it's being bombed. And the reason it's being bombed is because the West kept pushing NATO up against the border with Russia. There's nobody who knows anything about it who would disagree with that. Nobody. They've been saying it for decades. If you want a war with Russia, what you do is you push NATO up against the border. And then you get your war with Russia. Now we've got our war with Russia. And what's particularly galling about it is people like, Christy Freeland and Theresa Tam. Man, those two are a match made in heaven, right? Because Theresa Tam knew what she was talking about with COVID. She was one of the foremost experts in the world on contagious diseases, obviously. She wrote the book on this stuff long before it happened. She was saying it would come from Asia, it would come by air, and yeah, we'd have to lock people in their homes. She was saying that 5-6 years ago. That little ghoul sitting there, rubbing her hands together. She's a ghoul. She looks like a ghoul, and the effect that she has on the Canadian population was ghoulish. What they did to children was ghoulish. And Christy Freeland speaks Ukrainian, speaks Russian. I think she's pretty well equipped to know that if you want to stop the war in Russia, what you do is you say, okay, let's quit pushing NATO up against its border. That's what you do if you want to save Ukrainian lives. Like, she speaks Ukrainian, she wouldn't push that. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And you know who is aware of this? The trucker convoy guys. They do know this. I know they know that. I know some of them know that. They know that. Well, it's Russian 101. I mean, there's nothing more basic. There's probably nothing more basic than understanding what Russia did to Ukraine, number one. Number two, that a lot of Ukrainians are Nazis and have good reason to be, in a sense, to the extent that anybody can have a good reason to be a Nazi. They are Nazis. And what the Western world is doing is paying Nazis to fight Russia. Ukrainian Nazis were killing Russians in Ukraine. The Donetsk region, I think, region it was in Ukraine. They've been bombing and murdering people down there for years. Holy shit. Okay. Take a little step back here. And what are you going to say? I mean, Tamarah Lich, there should be a statue, right? People who oppose government tyranny at home or abroad should have statues built in commemoration of them. I'm guessing. I'm guessing. I know that. But there will never be a public monument to her. I don't know much else about her, actually, except that she opposed liberal tyranny.